Hi, my name is Camelia Cajo, and this is my presentation on Instagram and how it's helping small businesses. First, let's talk about new media. New media refers to on-demand access to content anytime, anywhere, on any digital device, as well as interactive user feedback and creative participation. Another aspect of new media is the real-time generation of new and unregulated content. Most technologies described as new media are digital, often having characteristics of being manipulated, networkable, dense, compressible, and interactive. Some examples may be internet, websites, computer multimedia, video games, CD-ROMs, and DVDs. New media does not include television programs, feature films, magazines, books, or paper-based publications, unless they contain technologies that enable digital interactivity. So anything that's what we're used to as far as getting information from TV and TV, magazines, stuff like that, print, newspapers, that's not new media, that's old media. New media is all digital. Wikipedia, an online encyclopedia, is an example of a continuing internet accessible digital text image platform. It's considered new media because it's created by participation of contributors, interactive feedback from users, and formation of participation in community editors and donors for the benefit of non-community readers. Facebook is also an example of the social media model, which most users are also participants. Now, since we're talking about social media, I think that's the next step I will have to talk about in order to let to get to the point of how it affects small businesses and how it's helping small businesses, Instagram mainly, but it is a form of social media. Social media is the interaction among people in which they create, share, or exchange information and ideas in virtual communities and networks. Social media differ from traditional or industrial media in many ways, including quality, reach, frequency, usability, immediacy, and permanence. There are many effects that stem from internet usage. And according to Nielsen, internet users continue to spend more time with social media sites than any other type of site. In 2011, I think it was 88 billion minutes. 2012, it jumped to 121 billion minutes. So I think that's over 50% that it went up by. That's a lot. Social media depends highly on mobile and web-based technologies to create highly interactive platforms through which individuals and communities share, co-create, discuss, and modify user-generated content. User-generated content. That means the user is in charge of what they put up, which is very important. Furthermore, I thought it was interesting finding out that cellular phones, such as the iPhone, have created the inability to be in complete solitude. People are attached to their phones. In group settings, they interact more with their phones than they do with other people that are in the group setting, which is kind of ironic, but that's what's happening. It seems that a study was done and the iPhone activates the insular cortex of the brain, which is associated with feelings of love. So people show similar feelings to their phone as they would to their friends, family, and loved ones. Okay, now let's get to the main point. Let's first go through a brief historical journey through social media, through social networking sites from an entrepreneur and small business standpoint. MySpace. For me, this is where the opportunity started. It essentially made people who weren't previously attainable, like celebrities and other industry type of people. I used that first because that's what I know, so I'm going to use that. It made them attainable when they weren't previously attainable. With this level of access, online personalities were created, and a means for entrepreneurs, artists, and creators within the entertainment industry became to become popular happened. But they were able to become popular, but I don't think they really knew how to translate that into becoming profitable. Not everyone, not the regular Joe Schmo. Certain people probably could do it, but if that was the case, they probably didn't need MySpace to do it anyhow. They probably had their own vices to do so. They just use it as a tool to kind of help, or so Facebook. And although Facebook started first, I'm using it after in this context because Facebook was more personal in the beginning. It was about you connecting with people you knew from different schools and stuff like that. With the success of MySpace, Facebook became more inclusive and let more people in on the action, and that allowed people to gain more access to everyone else too within different networks and so on and so forth. I think a lot of people that had events or were throwing things, or you wanted to make someone aware of something that you were doing, you could use Facebook. You had all these friends, you sent them an invite to all your, went straight to their calendars on their phones or whatever devices they had, and they knew about your event. They knew what you were doing. They knew about your cause. Anything that you had going on, they knew about it. So, and these were people that you were friends with, you connected with. So that helped also. Then, but it helped people become more popular, and they started to see some profit from this as well, I feel, with people attending said events or whatever it is that you invited them to come out to. Then came Twitter. Let's dive into Twitter for a second. Twitter came about, and no one really knew what it was. No one knew what the purpose was. They just knew that you tweet about mindless, whatever a tweet was, you just talked about mindless things or whatever you were feeling or doing within 140 characters. What can you really do in 140 characters? Good point. But people still liked the concept. It was simple. Microblogging is what they call it. And it also introduced another factor that I thought was very important. It kind of eliminated the friend factor and introduced the follow factor, where people could be friends with you, but not really. They can follow your every move like a friend would on other social networking sites, but you didn't have to follow theirs. You didn't have to engage with them. They could pretty much just look and see what it was that you're up to by what you decide to put out, user-generated content. And it just kind of worked out for a lot of people and businesses because they had all these things that they wanted people to know about, what they were doing, products they had, and people could just follow you and know about it without you having to deal with friending everyone else to let them know about your product that you had. People had direct access to you and whatever you were doing. And it was easy. It was with a simple click. Just follow. You didn't like what they were doing, you can always unfollow. There were no restraints on that. So no commitment. So sometimes people wouldn't even know if you unfollowed them. So that was kind of an easier platform for people to have. And it kind of fostered in my main point, Instagram. Now with Instagram, previously I stated with Twitter you only had 140 characters. Now they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. That is so very true. I think our society today, we're very visual. And if something looks good, we want to know more about it. We want to be tied to it. We want to get access to it. Instagram kind of allowed that. In my opinion, Instagram married advertising with word of mouth, which are two things that small businesses really need. Now, previously, small businesses relied heavily on word of mouth. That's how they would get their business, especially since they probably wouldn't have the money or the funds to get large scale advertising as, bigger businesses would have. So, Instagram comes along, and I'm not talking about businesses that's been in place for years because they already have their ways of getting business. But new small businesses and entrepreneurs that have an idea, they want to test it out, they want to see how profitable it could be. They can start an Instagram account, and through the use of clever hashtags, which seems like nothing, but you can hashtag something, and now, aside from the people who follow you, you have access to a whole bunch of other people who are following a subject, whatever you hashtag. So if it's like makeup, people that want to know about people that do makeup, have makeup, sell makeup, they can search the hashtag makeup and they'll find a slew of pictures from people who actually are in the field that deals with makeup. So that happened. I mean, it was something to kind of marry the two ideas together. Let me get this advertising out that's free, because Instagram is free, and just kind of put it out there and let whoever comes to it comes. And you have people that like the picture, so it shows other people that people feel the same way they do about whatever they're seeing. And it really ties in back into the visual component that we're dealing with in this new media, social media day and age. An Instagram profile can take both the advertising and the word of mouth aspect and really enhance whatever it is that you're trying to sell. People are receptive towards it. It gets more notoriety, it gets more popular. But instead of just being popular like other sites used to have before, you'd be popular on it, but there was no profitability. Now there's direct access for people to want to actually try it because it's something they're seeing. They're seeing other people try it and they're deciding it's worth my time for me to try it. And I think that's what Instagram is allowing. It's allowing for that follow through to happen between the consumer and the vendor, entrepreneur, small business, whatever. So that's pretty much how I feel it's been helping small businesses. In conclusion, small businesses have free access to business development that they've never had before, and it's proving to be very beneficial for small businesses to stay on top of the new social media, whatever's coming out. And that's it. Thank you.